The arena exploded. The referee's hand slapped the mat for the third time. Tiffany Stratton's reign was over. In what can only be described as the most shocking upset in recent WWE history, Jade Cargill has just dethroned the seemingly unstoppable Tiffany Stratton at Saturday night's main event, and the wrestling world is absolutely losing its mind right now. If you thought you knew what was going to happen tonight, think again. Everything we predicted, everything the so-called experts guaranteed would never happen, just got thrown out the window in the most spectacular fashion imaginable. This is the kind of moment that reminds us why we fall in love with professional wrestling over and over again, and if you're not absolutely furious, thrilled, or completely mind-blown right now, then you weren't watching the same match the rest of us just witnessed. Before we dive deep into this historic night, I need you to do something for me, and I'm asking this as someone who's been in the trenches with you through every shocking title change, every controversial finish, and every moment that made us question what we just saw. Smash that like button right now. Drop a comment telling me your immediate reaction when Jade's music hit after that final pinfall. Were you jumping off your couch? Were you throwing your remote? Were you screaming at your screen? And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to Ring Rumble because nights like tonight are exactly why this channel exists. We're here for the chaos, the controversy, and the crowning of new champions when nobody sees it coming. Your support means everything to this community we're building together, so let's show WWE that we're paying attention to every single move they make. Now, let's rewind to about 6 hours ago. The build-up to this match had everyone convinced this was going to be nothing more than another showcase for Tiffany Stratton's dominance. The Time Lord, the prodigy, the woman who's been cutting through the WWE Women's division like a hot knife through butter since she arrived on the main roster. Stratton came into Saturday night's main event with all the momentum in the world. She'd successfully defended her championship against every credible challenger thrown her way. Bayley? Defeated. Bianca Belair? Couldn't get it done. Even Charlotte Flair in that Absolute War 3 weeks ago fell short. The narrative was set in stone, or so we all thought. Tiffany Stratton was untouchable, and Jade Cargill was just another name on the list of challengers who would come close but ultimately fall short of capturing the gold. But here's where things get absolutely insane, and this is why I'm still shaking as I'm recording this video for you right now. Jade Cargill didn't just win the championship. She didn't squeak out a victory through some fluke roll-up or count-out controversy. She dominated Tiffany Stratton in a way we haven't seen anyone dominate the champion since she won the title 7 months ago. From the opening bell, Jade came out with a level of intensity and focus that we've only seen glimpses of during her WWE run. The power moves, the technical precision, the ring awareness, everything clicked for Jade Cargill on the biggest stage possible, and Tiffany Stratton had absolutely no answer for it. The match itself was a masterclass in storytelling, and I want to break this down moment by moment because there were so many layers to what we just witnessed. The opening minutes saw both women feeling each other out, with Stratton using her speed and technical superiority to try and keep Jade off balance. She was working Jade's left leg, methodically breaking down the base of power that makes Jade so dangerous. Smart strategy, right? This is what Stratton does better than almost anyone. She's a tactician in that ring. She studies her opponents, finds their weaknesses, and exploits them without mercy. For the first 10 minutes, it looked like the game plan was working to perfection. Jade was moving slower, showing visible frustration as Stratton kept slipping out of her grasp and continuing to attack that leg. But then came the turning point, and oh my god, this is the moment that will be replayed on highlight reels for years to come. Stratton went for her signature moonsault off the top rope, the move that's put away so many opponents, the move that retained her championship time and time again. She launched herself with picture-perfect form, rotating through the air with the kind of grace that made her a gymnast before she became a wrestler. But Jade, somehow, someway, moved at the last possible second. Not only did she move, but she caught Stratton in midair as she crashed down, adjusted her position, and planted her with a thunderous power slam that shook the entire ring. The crowd went absolutely ballistic. The energy in that arena shifted instantly from expecting a Stratton victory celebration to realizing they might be witnessing history in the making. From that moment on, it was like watching a completely different Jade Cargill. Everything that had been holding her back, every criticism about her not being ready for this level, every doubt about whether she could handle the pressure of a title match at a premium live event, it all disappeared in that instant. The jaded driver that followed moments later got a near fall that had the entire arena on their feet. The pump kick that nearly took Stratton's head off got another 2 9/10 count that had fans convinced the referee's hand hit the mat 3 times. This wasn't just Jade Cargill having a good night. This was Jade Cargill ascending to another level entirely, showing the world that she belongs in the main event picture not as a project or a work in progress, but as a legitimate top-tier talent who can carry a major championship. And let's talk about Tiffany Stratton for a moment because I don't want her performance to get lost in the shock of the title change. Stratton fought like an absolute warrior tonight. She kicked out of moves that have finished other competitors. She kept finding ways to counter Jade's power advantage with her technical skill and ring IQ. There was a sequence in the middle of the match where Stratton strung together about 7 different submission attempts, flowing from one to the next, trying desperately to get Jade to tap out. It was beautiful wrestling, the kind of pure technical artistry that reminds you why Stratton was considered one of the best prospects to come through NXT in years. But tonight, it wasn't enough. Sometimes in wrestling, and in life, you can do everything right and still lose, and that's exactly what happened to Tiffany Stratton at Saturday night's main event. The finish itself came at the 23-minute mark, which for those keeping track at home, means this wasn't some quick transitional match designed to hotshot the title around. WWE gave these women nearly 25 minutes on one of their most important shows of the year to tell a complete story, and they delivered in every possible way. Stratton attempted to hit her prettiest moonsault ever one more time, clearly desperate to put Jade away and retain her championship. But Jade saw it coming this time. She rolled out of the way, popped up despite the damage to her leg, and as Stratton staggered to her feet clutching her midsection, Jade hit the Jaded, her devastating facebuster finisher, with more impact than I've ever seen her deliver it. The way Stratton bounced off the mat, you knew immediately it was over. The referee counted 1, 2, 3, and we have a new champion. The aftermath was pure chaos in the best possible way. Jade's music hit, and the referee handed her the championship. You could see the emotion on Jade's face as she held that title for the first time. This is a woman who came from AEW as a massive star, walked into WWE with enormous expectations, and had to deal with months of people questioning whether she made the right decision, whether she could adapt to WWE's style, whether she was ready for this moment. Tonight, she answered all of those questions with the loudest statement possible. Jade Cargill is not just ready for WWE's main event scene, she might be ready to define it for the next several years. But here's where things get even more interesting, and this is what we need to talk about moving forward because the implications of this title change are absolutely massive. What does this mean for Tiffany Stratton? Does she get an automatic rematch? Is this the beginning of a long-term feud between these two that could span multiple pay-per-views? And what about all the other women in the locker room who were waiting for their shot at Stratton's championship? Suddenly, we have a brand new landscape in the women's division with Jade Cargill standing at the top of the mountain. Think about the potential matches this opens up. Jade vs. Rhea Ripley, if Ripley moves to the same brand. Jade vs. Liv Morgan. Jade vs. Io Sky. These are dream matches that just became possible overnight. And let's address the elephant in the room that I know everyone's thinking about right now. Was this the right call? Should WWE have kept the title on Stratton and let her chase Bayley's recent record for longest reign? Or was this the perfect moment to pull the trigger on Jade Cargill and establish her as the face of the division? The internet is already divided on this, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below because this is a legitimate debate with valid arguments on both sides. On one hand, Stratton's reign was just hitting its stride. She was developing into one of the most complete performers in WWE, and there was still story left to tell with her as champion. On the other hand, momentum is everything in professional wrestling, and Jade Cargill had reached a point where she needed this moment. Waiting any longer might have cooled her off or made the eventual title win feel less impactful. The social media reaction has been absolutely wild in the hours since this match concluded. Twitter is melting down with people either praising WWE Creative for making a bold move or criticizing them for cutting Stratton's reign short. Former wrestlers are chiming in with their takes. Fans are creating highlight packages and posting them everywhere. This is the kind of organic buzz that money can't buy, the kind of water cooler moment that reminds casual fans why they should be watching WWE programming every single week. Love it or hate it, everyone is talking about what happened at Saturday night's main event, and that's exactly what WWE wants and needs in today's fragmented entertainment landscape. Looking ahead to the immediate future, we have to consider what this means for the Royal Rumble coming up in just a few weeks. Does Jade Cargill walk into that event as champion and successfully defend against whoever steps up to challenge her? Does Tiffany Stratton exercise her rematch clause and try to reclaim what she lost tonight? Or does WWE throw us another curveball and bring in a completely unexpected challenger to shake things up even more? The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes this title change so exciting from a storytelling perspective. WWE just reset the entire women's division with 1-3 count, and now we get to watch as they build the new reality around Jade Cargill as champion. I also want to give massive credit to both women for the match they delivered tonight because this wasn't just about the title change or the shock value of the upset. This was legitimately one of the best women's matches WWE has produced in months. The psychology was on point, the pacing was perfect, the near falls were believable, and the finish felt earned rather than contrived. Both Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton elevated their stock tonight regardless of who walked out with the championship. These are the kinds of performances that define careers and establish legacies. Years from now, when people talk about the rise of Jade Cargill in WWE, Saturday night's main event will be remembered as the night she truly arrived. So where do we go from here? That's the million-dollar question that everyone's asking right now, and honestly, I have no idea what WWE Creative has planned next, which is refreshing because it means we're not in one of those predictable booking cycles where you can see every move coming 3 months in advance. Will Jade have a long reign, or is this a short transitional run designed to shake things up before someone else takes the title? Will Stratton chase the championship as a face after fans inevitably rally behind her following this loss? Could we see a multi-woman storyline develop with several wrestlers all claiming they deserve a shot at the new champion? The beauty of professional wrestling is that all of these options are on the table, and we'll find out together as the weeks unfold. What I can tell you with absolute certainty is that Saturday night's main event delivered exactly what it promised, a main event that mattered with stakes that felt real and a result that changed everything. Jade Cargill is your new champion. Tiffany Stratton's impressive reign has come to an end, and the entire WWE Women's division just got infinitely more interesting. This is why we watch. This is why we invest our time and emotion into these characters and storylines. Because when wrestling hits the way it hit tonight, there's nothing else like it in the world of entertainment. So make sure you sound off in the comments, let me know if you think this was the right move or a huge mistake, tell me what you want to see happen next, and most importantly, keep coming back to Ring Rumble because we'll be covering every twist and turn of this story as it develops. Until next time, keep your eyes on the ring, because in WWE, anything can happen, and tonight proved that more than ever before.